Next speaker.
Edward Pettitt,
Edward Pettitt.
to be followed by Cortez Bill.
Council members. In addition to being Vice President of the Third Ward Super Neighborhood, I'm also a graduate research assistant with the Bullard Center for Environmental and Climate Justice at Texas Southern University. And though I can't stay for their comments, I wanted to say I stand in solidarity with the Northeast Action Collective and agree with them that drainage is an environmental justice issue, especially when it's disproportionately spreading toxins in our black and brown communities, especially in the northeast of Houston. I'm actually here today to speak on an issue that could actually relieve a burden from the Houston Public Works shoulders so that it can focus more on drainage. And it's an issue that's directly connected to our Third Ward Complete Communities Action Plan. Anyone who knows me knows that I've been a huge proponent of the Complete Communities program since the early planning stages in Third Ward, and I appreciate that when we have reached impasses in implementing some of these projects, Director Buggs and the mayor have personally stepped in to help us breach those impasses, such as the lot owned by Public Works in the University Village neighborhood that was perennially neglected and overgrown. They helped us turn that into the University Village's first public pocket park, and so we appreciate that. We have another issue on addressing our goal on page 32 of the plan under preserving our neighborhood's history and character. There's a project for a cultural trail to join with other organizations to create a cultural trail through the Houston Southeast District and the Third Ward that connects businesses, historic landmarks, art institutions, and parks and open spaces, specifically referencing the Columbia Tap Hike and Bike Trail, including signage and public art. And we've been trying to do this for 6 years. The problem is that Houston Public Works owns the trail after it was eminent domain from Union Pacific, and they only have a maintenance contract with Public Works to mow the grass on the sides. So when we go to Public Works with grant funding, with opportunities, with offers to put in signage, Public Works says we're not a parks entity. And we go to Parks, and Parks says our hands are tied, Public Works owns it. So they point at each other. And it's not only this trail, but other trails like the MKT Trail in the Heights and the Harrisburg Sunset Trail in the East End. But at least those trails have TERSs and management districts, and in the case of MKT Heights, a private entity that actually invested in public realm improvements to those trails. We don't necessarily have that kind of support in Third Ward, which is why I'm requesting that the council, with the assistance of the mayor and Director Buggs, work to amend the interlocal agreement with Houston Parks Board to take over management and jurisdiction of that trail so that we can finally get federal funding, state funding, local funding to make the improvements we want, especially as this trail is key to the new plan for CUNY homes.
Your time has expired.
Councilwoman Carolyn Ellis Boss.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Ed. Always good for you to come down and help us to get on point. And so I want to give you my minutes. Thank you. If you have more to say. I
would love to, thank Councilmember Shabazz. She's been on top of this, and various staff members have been helpful. Mike Iserman at Parks and Juvenal Robles, Veronica Davis with Houston Parks Board, the Houston Public Works, and then also the board chairman of Houston Parks Board, Baron Wallace, has appointed Michael Skelly to help us work out issues from their end. So what I'm requesting the mayor do is sit down with the department heads, get them in the same room, Director Kenneth Allen, Director Carol Haddock, with the CEO of Houston Parks Board, Beth White, to work out a solution to this problem so that we can tick off another checkbox on our Complete Communities plan.
Councilmember Gallegos.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Edward, for everything that you do in regards to Columbia Tap. I know that you are also instrumental and an advocate for that section there in Edo as well. So thank you. And Mayor, I have to agree with Edward in regards to, I know my Civic Club, we have a green space in my neighborhood that it's Public Works, but then when we try to deal with, it's just a small little triangle. Civic Club is for years, back when I was president of my Civic Club, we wanted to do something in that little space. And we would reach out to Public Works. Public Works would tell us to go to the Parks Department. Parks Department would tell us to go to Public Works. And we're like, wait a minute, we want to do some improvements in this little green space. And if there's any way where in situations like that, when the Parks Department and Public Works knows that they're not going to use that piece of property for anything in the future, So why not direct it to the Parks Board and let the Parks Board work with these organizations so that way they can do what they would like to do and like to see in the future? I don't know if that might be a solution, but I'm sure if Edward's bringing his situation up, and I know of one in my neighborhood, I'm sure there's a whole bunch of them throughout the city that it's frustrating when you're trying to do some improvements, but yet you have Public Works telling you to go to Parks Department telling you to go back to Public Works, and nothing gets done.
Thank you, and thank you for your assistance with your section of the Columbia Tap north of the Gulf Freeway. I'm proud to report that all the civic clubs, council districts, management districts, and TERSs for the first time are on the same board, on the same level on the Columbia Tap, and working with the University of Houston Community Design Resource Center to put together a comprehensive plan. So I thank you for helping to lead those efforts.
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you. Next speaker.